The people will concede the matter, Your Honor, and ask the court to grant the petition.
Right. Petition is granted. Motion?
The people's motion to dismiss this case pursuant to Section 1385 B.
That will be granted. Anything else?
Nothing.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. And I want to thank the District Attorney's Office for their cooperation in this case so we can resolve this sufficient order.
Good luck, Mr. Banks.
I'll just say this. I know what I've been through. I know the things that I've endured. I know the trauma, the stress. But I can't imagine how it feels to have your child torn from you, snatched from your protection, and you do all that you can to help your child, and everything that you do doesn't work. I don't know how that feels, but I can only imagine how it feels. And I don't know where I would be today without my parents. I don't know where I would be today without them, because they stuck by me and they're here today. And this is all that matters to me, is my family and my freedom. That's it. So I hope that in the process of me being able to heal, that they can heal too.
For a crime that never happened. On Thursday, 26-year-old Brian Banks saw his conviction tossed out after his accuser changed her story. Lee Cowan spoke with Banks after his emotional day in court and just before he was officially set free.
That's the only thing left, though, of this nightmare, I guess.
That, and just start working on the mental and emotional, the repair there.
That ankle tracking bracelet has been locked on Brian Banks' left leg for years.
It's day to day.
Good day today, then.
Yeah, best day.
He found out just as we were sitting down for our interview that loathsome bracelet was finally coming off.
This is by far the heaviest weight that I've ever had to carry around.
Today he's been labeled innocent.
10 years ago, Brian Banks was wrongly convicted of raping a classmate while in high school. And on Thursday, the now 26-year-old sobbed as the judge finally threw out the bogus charges that had sent him to prison for more than 5 years.
What went through your mind?
Everything just grabbed me at once, and it just consumed me at that moment. And so it was bittersweet. And I was so happy to hear those words, but just I'm still left with that question of why.
Long Beach Police says they have it!
At 16, Brian Banks was the star linebacker for his Long Beach high school. He had a full-ride scholarship to USC and a dream to play in the NFL.
That scholarship to USC was just waiting for you.
It was there. All I had to do was just play my senior year, the biggest year of my life.
Instead, a brief, albeit passionate, encounter with a female classmate in this high school stairwell changed everything.
We began making out, we kissed, groped, touched. We didn't have sex. Sex never occurred.
But the girl claimed rape, and before Brian knew it, he was under arrest.
I was awakened with a number of officers in my room. One officer had his knee to my back as I was laying down, and there were guns drawn. They threw me in a squad car, and I never came home.
There was no proof that you were guilty, no physical evidence, no DNA evidence, nothing.
Nothing whatsoever.
It was your word against hers.
Mm-hmm.
And hers won?
Hers won because mine was never heard.
Despite his claims of innocence, he says his defense attorney gave him a choice. Plead no contest to rape or risk a trial that could send him to prison for life.
If I go into that courtroom, the jury was going to automatically see a big black teenager and would automatically assume me as guilty.
That's what she told you?
That's what she told me. And so I asked her, well, can I at least speak to my mother? And she said, no, this is your decision to make. You need to make it now. And so I took the plea.
He ended up finishing high school while in prison, and he had to register as a sex offender. He thought that was the end of it. But after he was released, came a surprise, a friend request on Facebook from the girl, now a woman, who had ruined his young life.
So what went through your mind, though, when you got that Facebook message?
I didn't even think it was her. I thought it was somebody playing a joke on me.
He agreed to meet her with a private investigator who videotaped the whole thing. And finally, the confession came.
No, he didn't.
But that's as far as it went.
Did she apologize?
No,
Not even an I'm sorry?
no,
Nothing.
no.
And she never explained why she did it. But it was enough evidence for attorneys from the Innocence Project to get Brian's conviction overturned.
Are you angry?
No, I'm not angry.
How could you not be?
I've been there. I've been at that point of anger and bitterness when I first received that 6-year sentence. But then I realized that that type of energy only holds me back. It does nothing to the people that I'm angry about. You have to forgive and move on.
He's working to get his life back on track and has never lost his dream of being in the NFL.
Where do you want to play?
Whoever will give me an opportunity.
He's already chosen how to live. Now, he's free to live. For CBS This Morning, I'm Lee Cowan, Los Angeles.
Mixed.
As wow. So let's go back to the unpleasant part of the story. You're falsely accused. You spend time in prison. Did you know this girl?
Yeah, we actually went to middle school together as well as high school.
And why do you think she decided to accuse you?
You know, we never really got the answer to that. There's been a few reasons that, you know, we came up to the conclusion, but I think what it really came down to is she didn't want her parents to know that she was sexually active.
And now you sit here with the word exonerated.
Yes.
Take us back to that day in the courtroom and the judge says you were exonerated. You think what?
You know, it was just mixed emotions. I think a bit of everything. Just bittersweet. To have this finally be over with, to finally have my name cleared and to have my life back, but to also reflect on everything that I had gone through just to get to that point. It's been a 10-year struggle, you know, so I'm just happy to be free now.
Do you like your chances for being able to play football?
I do. I really do like my chances, and it's still alive and well. The dream is still in pursuit, you know, and I thank the California Innocence Project and my lawyer, Justin Brooks, for allowing me to have this opportunity of giving football another shot.
We should point out that's what is on your sweatshirt.
Yes.
It says California, and the number is?
Exonerate.
And Innocence Project, it says smaller underneath. Yeah.
It does. Yeah, the California Innocence Project, this is a logo of theirs. And as soon as I was exonerated, you know, I had seen this logo before I was exonerated, and it was just a shirt. And as soon as I was exonerated, it just meant so much more to me. Yeah.
And so what are you hearing from NFL teams about your dream?
Well, right now, I had an opportunity to try out for a number of teams, and the response was experience. It wasn't the lack of the ability, right? So having had the opportunity to play in the UFL and play around coaches that have NFL experience, players that have NFL experience, I use that as a platform and a vessel to, you know, broaden my skill. So.
Are there people saying, give up that dream and pursue another dream because... It can't work?
Yeah. You know, some people see my life heading in the direction of advocating for other wrongfully convicted men and women, and I do too. But football is still a big passion of mine, and it's still very close. I've talked to a few NFL teams who are considering bringing me in before the season even ends. So it's still in pursuit.
Yeah, but people are saying, yeah, but it's been 10 years. Just the fact of the lack of time in keeping up with the skill, you have no doubt that you could still do this game.
No doubt. Whatever you put your mind to, you can achieve it.
I mean, that's the important thing. Who has to believe in you is you.
Is you.
Exactly.
You know. Yeah. On the other hand, there is also this aspect of your life. People who meet you, respond to you.
Right.
You were in the green room with Mark Zinga.
Right.
I mean, with Mark Pincus of Zinga.
Yeah.
You know, and he's talking about you when he sat down in a sense of the impression. He knew nothing about you that you made on him.
Right.
So you're going to have lots of options, but only you can live with the dream that I can play football and I can show you.
Yeah. Mark is a great guy, and I strongly believe in what you want in this world. You must first put out. You know, you just have to be good for yourself, and that in turn, you know.
How can you do this, though, with no bitterness against the girl, with no bitterness that football hasn't worked out? How are you able to do that?
What's important for me is forward progression. What am I going to do for me? Instead of sitting down and having negative thoughts about anyone or myself, I realized a long time ago that that only stagnates me.
Yeah.
So what I do have control over is me, while in any situation, whether it be good or bad.
If you do that, you're only hurting yourself.
Most definitely.
Thank you, Brian Banks.
Thank you
Great
so
to
much.
have you
Thank
here.
you.